Yo, what is up, people? Welcome back to another video. This is your boy Two Tone, and in today's video we're going to be doing a news roundup, something that I haven't done in several weeks on my channel. But with all the information that came out today, why not let it fly? So look, we're just going to jump right into this, man. Let me pull this up. This is the first bit of news, and if you've been on my YouTube, then you probably seen my short. If not, I'm gonna just go ahead and give you my reaction. This came out from earlier today, where Angel Torres, the Getafe president, I don't know if y'all seen what he had to say, but he was basically like speaking out against La Liga and against Javier Tebas, as he says here, quote, "We are only selling," what is his name? Crisantos Uche to Wolves because of La Liga. We have to sell. We are ruining La Liga by continuously selling. I am forced to sell him. I have no other choice. Tomorrow he undergoes the medical, and the deal will be signed with Wolves. It's sad, bro, because as far as league goes, without me doing any research and just going off the top of my head, I would say what Getafe is in the La Liga is what Wolves is in the Premier League. And I think if this league was ran better, I'm not going to say correctly or incorrectly, this is just subjective. If I believe if the league was ran better, bro, Getafe wouldn't be selling to clubs that's at the same tier as them in different leagues. They just wouldn't. Now, if he wants to leave and go to a top six, like one of the big six clubs in England, one of a Europa League qualifying club in England or any other leagues, okay, it makes sense, right? Getafe really don't want to sell, but the player wants to play in European competitions. He probably know he would never get that at Getafe, so okay, cool, fine. Wolves are not, last time I checked, the Wolves are not in any European competition. So league standing wise, it's a lateral move, but Getafe had to sell. So like I said in my TikTok earlier, bro, shout out to Angel Torres, man, because I know he's put in an uncomfortable situation. One, selling your best assets, and then two, in the league you're trying to have success in, you have to call out that league's president while you're actively in it. So now you have to worry about, is there going to be any type of retaliation behind the scenes, little subtle, nothing too overt, but just something subtle to where it can maybe backfire because he came out and said what he had to say. Angel Torres, I'm going to salute you, bro. I'm going to salute you because I wish Laporta came out and spoke like this straightforward. Now, we're not forced to sell per se. Like, we can always, with Barcelona, we can always find other ways of getting guys registered or adding this to the books, that to the books, whatever it may be. The club always finds alternative ways to get whatever objective they want to complete. They find alternative ways to get that done. Getafe is really not in that situation, so it sucks to see, bro. It really does. But Angel Torres, man, I appreciate you coming out and saying what needs to be said, because if you look at the top comment at the bottom, Tebas doesn't care. This is the reason why the league is not competitive. Small clubs are forced to sell their best players, and they're not even selling them to European quality type of clubs. They're selling to the English version of Getafe. So it's crazy, bro. It's sad for real, but I hope that maybe after continuously calling it out, more pressure in the press and other clubs start to see that, we're tired of this too. It only takes one person to come out and speak their mind, and then usually other people usually come around and say the same thing. So like I said, man, shout out to Angel Torres. I think that's how you say Angel. I think it's Angel Torres. I'm gonna say Angel, but shout out to him, man, because I know that wasn't easy, and Getafe is usually a team that's not liked due to the way that they play, but at the end of the day, bro, they just trying to survive. Try to survive in La Liga and try to get points. And it's hard to do that when they're forced to sell some of their best players to teams that it's not even giving them a crazy amount of money. It's really a lateral move as far as success within the league. So y'all let me know what y'all think on that specific point. But we're going to be moving on to the next topic here. So kind of going on with the same kind of pattern, I highlighted this because this was crazy, bro. Like, I remember when Jeremy Pino was linked to Barcelona at one point in time. I believe at one point in time he was linked to Atletico Madrid. Don't quote me on that, but I believe I've seen his name linked to Atletico Madrid. The point is, playing for Villarreal is a very respectable club in La Liga. It's not quite Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico, but they are in that very next tier. So if you call the three clubs I just named tier A, I will put Villarreal in tier B. So coming up, you expect that, you know, as talented as he is, and I remember seeing something about him when he was a teenager. So you always knew eventually he was going to have to move, right? That was never going to be a situation where Villarreal, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, they were never going to be in a situation where they're going to be able to keep a player like that for the duration of his career. He was always going to make a move either within La Liga or in a different league. I highlight this and I wanted to talk about it because the same thing that I was talking about with Getafe. Jeremy Pino is making a lateral move. You can't say Crystal Palace does better in La Liga. I mean, Crystal Palace does better in the Premier League than what Villarreal does in La Liga. What I think they were trying to get into, was it the Europa League Crystal Palace was trying to get into? But I believe because of something with UEFA, now they have to be in a conference league. I believe that's the case. And Crystal Palace is normally not in European competitions. Villarreal, you could almost say the same about them. I mean, there are times where they are in Europa League. They are in Conference League. I'm trying to think if I would have to double check that. But I don't know, man. It's just, like I said, it's just another example. It's just another example on what is wrong with La Liga. If Jeremy Pino, if everything was normal and is right, his move outside of La Liga would be to, if I had to guess, right, some clubs that I could see him fit if everything seemed normal, right, in La Liga. I could see him playing at an Arsenal, a Chelsea, maybe a United, you know, maybe, I don't know. But my point is, a player like that at Villarreal, if he's leaving, he's going to be making an upgrade as far as clubs and competition, pay-wise, all that. I think the only upgrade he's going to be getting in this is his pay rise, because Crystal Palace being in the Premier League, they can pay him a lot more than probably what Villarreal can. And I don't think it's because Crystal Palace is a much bigger club than Villarreal. I don't believe that at all. Quality-wise and the recruitment, they're on the same tier. In my eyes, I think Villarreal is a little bit better, a little bit bigger, just a little bit. But, you know, Premier League tax for Crystal Palace is going to give them that little notch, should probably put them above Villarreal. But like I said, man, it's at 50 million euros. You know, that does seem like a lot of money, though. I ain't gonna lie. Villarreal is really good at selling players. I think his estimated value was like 35 million euros. So the fact that Villarreal was able to get 50 out of him, kudos to Villarreal. But it's just the fact that a club like Crystal Palace, and I'm not going to knock the Premier League and Crystal Palace on how they are able to obtain their funds. They don't have any type restrictions. So they allow clubs like a Crystal Palace to then go to another league with the team that is slightly above them, and they can start cherry picking their best players. So, look, just another example of La Liga quality going down, because if you're not the top 2, top 3 clubs in La Liga, which we already know who they are, you're forced to sell some of your best assets, and not at a price that you want. Credit to Villarreal for getting 50 million out of that, but, you know, like I said, I just wanted to just hover over that because this is crazy. This is crazy. Going on to the next topic, I ain't gonna really talk about this, bro. If anything, I'm just gonna say this real quick. Whoever's in charge at Chelsea, whoever's responsible at Chelsea for getting players out the door, can Barcelona hire you? Like, I'm being honest, bro. Like, can you work two jobs? Can you? I don't know what it is about Barcelona struggling to sell players, but if a player simply just doesn't want to go, that's it. I stopped listening to exit rumors once the player has confirmed I don't want to leave. Now, obviously, they may say that at first, and then sometimes a little more pressure, maybe a tactic, whatever it may be. Sometimes it does end up happening, but more often than not, especially when it comes to Barcelona, if the players say, "Nah, I don't want to leave. I'm actually good here." Ronald Araujo, Frankie de Jong, Ter Stegen, guys that at one point in time the club did try to push out, but they was like, "No, I'm not going anywhere." And at that point, there's nothing you can do. You can maybe try to smear their name in the press, but if they're not willing to leave, they're just not willing to leave. And why would they? Playing for a big club, living in a city like Barcelona, warm weather, beaches, mountains, a lot of things to do, making good money, playing in big competitions. Like, you're not going to get me to go from that to Manchester United for Frankie de Jong's case. Nothing personal against United fans. I don't want y'all coming at me, but I'm just saying, if I'm Frankie de Jong, I'm not going to go from that to United situation. Now, if they were winning, maybe, but losing, living in Manchester, cold weather, only thing that's going to be a bump is his pay raise. And some players is like, look, I'm making this over here. I don't know if I'm willing to sacrifice that, making just a little bit more, but having to deal with everything else that comes with making that move. So I highlighted this because I'm just like, bro, this is crazy. Chelsea, they have no problem getting players in, and they have no problem getting players out. So whoever their sporting director is, I don't know if there is a role for that to get somebody out. Whoever that is, bro, call Barcelona's line, man. Call Barcelona's line, for real. Oh, this is a good one. So, and if I pronounce his name wrong, forgive me, okay? But Jean Virgili, y'all let me know in the comments how to pronounce his name. But he has been balling. He's been balling here lately. I think he only had 1 year with Barcelona as far as the youth team. But because of the season he had with Barcelona, was it Barcelona Athletic? I think it was. But he had a really good year last year. Really good, solid season. I've seen some highlights. He scored some crazy goals. I do like his pace with the ball at his feet. Tight dribbler. Still young. But there's already been some motion behind him. They're already saying he's proved a great intelligence and remarkable impact, that he would be a valuable asset in the future. One of the players the club should be very decisive on in his future. But they're saying right now there's a limbo because right now Barca B is in the 4th division, I believe. And he's too good for that. You really can't develop playing in the 4th division. However, the club right now today feels he's not ready for first team action. So he's kind of stuck. So right now, the options with Jean Virgili, like I said, bro, I don't know how to say his name, so y'all just let me know. But his options right now is either a loan move at a bigger club, at a higher level of competition, so you can really get to develop, or we sell him with the buyback option. I don't prefer the latter. I hope that we just do a simple loan somewhere, maybe a lower tier La Liga, or even La Liga 2, the second league, but like at a club that probably will be fighting for promotion. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out. Something that will allow him to really get a taste of higher level football in Spain. He just had they just played Flamingo. They just played them, and they said he killed it. They ended up losing the game on penalties, but he had a great game. I think he was a man of the match. And at that type of competition, that senior, I think it was an under 20 final. I can't remember what competition it was. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm gonna be honest, but I just remember that he had a really good game, and there was a lot of buzz coming out of that. But right now, as it stands, he's not ready enough for first team, but he's better than the situation he's in now. So it'll be interesting to see. Let me know what y'all think on that. I hope that we loan him. if we do sell him and a buyback, I hope it's something reasonable for us to actually trigger down the road. But I don't trust the club to do that, so let's just do a simple loan. That's what I'm requesting for. Look, yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think on that. A couple more topics. Look, man, I done brought up Hector Fort before. I told y'all in one of my most viral videos especially on TikTok, crazy numbers. But I was saying that, look, man, if you're not playing in preseason, or you're getting little to no minutes in preseason, that's a strong message that you're not really wanted here. And I know it hurts for Fort, but I think he's by now accepted fate that it is what it is. He's not in Hansi Flick's plans. As it says here, Mallorca and Como have shown interest in Hector Fort. There are other teams interested without formal offers. He is not in Hansi Flick's plans, and the player and the club, along with his entourage, believe that it's best to look for a destination where he can have a prominent role and can continue to develop. Barcelona are prioritizing a loan move, which is interesting because the way they was kind of talking about it at first when these links came up, I was seeing that it was going to be a transfer move. So the fact that they're kind of putting it out there that we're prioritizing a loan move shows that he needs to play, but we're not giving up on him all the way just yet. Because obviously if we did, we'd go ahead and leave, take what we can and in and out. But it looked like we're just going to prioritize a move, and good for him. I guess that we're not all the way closing the door. It seems like when it comes to getting players out of the club, it seems a lot of times the best thing Barcelona can do is get a player out on loan, which is unfortunate. I don't know why that is, but that is what it is. So they saying despite his presumed call up for the Under-20 World Cup next month, all parties already assume that it is best for him to leave now rather than in January, and I agree. Y'all let me know what y'all think on Hector Fort. Yeah, and I'm gonna save the best for last, man. This is what everybody was talking about. So earlier today, and again, I made a video on that. Check out my YouTube shorts. Make sure you leave a like and comment on what y'all think on that and on this video. But nonetheless, it says here, breaking news: Barcelona have received a 50 million offer for Chelsea for Fermin Lopez and are evaluating. It will solve all financial fair play problems at once. Now, we have came out because this news came out earlier today, and this is why I don't want to jump in and immediately do a full video breakdown on it, because of the fact that we now know that there has been no offer submitted from Chelsea as of today. Because if I go to Fabrizio Romano and he mentions Lopez, he says, okay, I could have sworn that I just seen this. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, because I know I just seen it. They were basically saying how Chelsea haven't submitted an offer yet. They just been talking to the player's entourage. And dude, this Fabrizio posts so much, bro. Let me just try to find another way to try to pull this up. Okay, so you know what? He must have did this like on his TikTok or his YouTube, because he didn't actually post it on his page. But this is what I was talking about. So they're saying that Chelsea appreciates Fermin for sure. He's a player that they like, but Chelsea like a lot of players, not only Fermin Lopez. Who doesn't like Fermin Lopez? He's one of the best around the world in his position. Very young, big potential. We're in the final days, so this regarding Fermin is not going to be in a matter of weeks or months, rather than a matter of hours. So this could change at any moment, but there is no club-to-club contact, no official bid from Chelsea, no concrete negotiating taken. So right now they probably just trying to tap in with his entourage and just see, man, look, if we give you the 10, obviously not the 10, I think it's Cole Palmer who has the 10, but if we play you at the 10, triple your wages, because I'm sure he's not on a lot at Barcelona, and Chelsea can easily triple, quadruple if they wanted to. So they probably telling them guaranteed playing time, quadruple your wages, and if you get a chance to ball out at a club like Chelsea, that can help you get into the World Cup team and going into 2026. All things that, I'm gonna be honest, bro, even as a Barcelona fan, if you're Fermin Lopez, you'd be foolish to at least not entertain it. You'd be foolish. Because if you don't at least repeat what you did last year, you have a worse season than last year. I don't know if clubs like Chelsea will be knocking at the door. They're also saying there was another club outside of the Premier League that is a big club in the Champions League. They didn't say specifically. I would have to guess it would be a club in Serie A. Which one? I don't know. But they're saying that, look, man, there's a lot of interest around Fermin Lopez. And he has something that he has to weigh, because not only does he know that he's behind Dani Olmo, even though I say that, right now, Hansi Flick won't pick between the two. He'll play one game and he play the other the next game. But now they have to worry about the dilemma of Rafinha playing at the 10 as well. So if Rafinha is also going to be playing at the 10, Fermin Lopez is going to have to battle his position with two other players, making it 3 in total. I believe, personally, I've said this before, I don't love Rafinha at the 10. I understand he can work there, things he can do. I understand that. But I don't love it. And because I don't love it, I would prefer Fermin Lopez to stay, because he's more of a natural 10 over somebody like Rafinha, and we can just rotate between Dani Olmo and Fermin. And Fermin Lopez has to know that there's a good chance Dani Olmo is going to get hurt this season. I hate to say it, but the boy's bones is made out of glass. So if he gets hurt, already anticipated, and on top of that, he's on a temporary registration. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong with Dani Olmo this season, opening up a door for Fermin Lopez to go out there and do what he has to do at the club of his dream. But he has to wait on that. And when you got a guaranteed offer of quadrupling your wages, at least tripling your wages, I know they're going to do more than double, bro. They got that Premier League money is long, especially Chelsea. So I would be floored if they take his wages and simply just double it. I think they can triple it, quadruple it. But what was I saying? Get back on point. But while he has to entertain the offer, like I said, personally, I would prefer for him to stay, understanding that he knows Dani Olmo is not going to stay fit all season, so that's going to open up opportunities for you to play, bro. And we know that Rafinha at times can play the 10, but he's not a natural fit at the 10, at least not right now. So I don't think it's so cut and dry for him to be like, yes, I'm going to go ahead and leave, but at the same time, it's not so simple to be like, man, I'm staying no matter what. I know he put out a statement. Where he was just like, I don't want to leave. Barcelona fans don't have anything to worry about. I'm here to stay. But that was a couple weeks ago. And he didn't play at all in the match against Levante. And on top of that, if he does feature, he probably knows if I start, I'm going to be subbed off. Or if I don't start and I do get minutes, it's going to be coming off the bench in the 60th minute, 70th minute. So it's honestly up to him. They have been saying it's up to him. Barcelona would accept an offer of $50 million from Chelsea. I do believe if they are going to go down the route of selling him, they have to get so much more than 50 million euros. That offer is a joke. When you think about the money that they splash in the Premier League for guys that's not even the quality of Fermin Lopez. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Barcelona fan. I'm just being real. Some of these players that's going for more than double that amount are not the quality of Fermin Lopez. And he's still young as well. So if we are going to sell, don't just take the first offer that they offer Barcelona. If you know anything about negotiating, they're going to come in with an offer they feel is fair. You're going to give them a response about what you're fair, and then you're going to meet somewhere in the middle. That's how you negotiate. So if the club does end up selling, like I said, they're not going to stand in the way. I just hope they just do a little something as far as negotiating. If they, let's say if Fermin Lopez does agree, you know what, I think I'm going to go ahead and leave. I'm going to take Chelsea's offer. Now it's up to the clubs to negotiate. Barcelona, you have to take more than 50. I'm going to be real. And I know this is not FIFA or EA. If they don't get at least 70 million euros, at least, the club, when it comes to the board, our directors, anybody, man, who had a hand in that, failed the club and failed Barcelona. I say and because Club Barcelona, same thing. They failed because they didn't fail the player. If he ends up leaving, he don't really care what the club is going to get. Hey, they gave you 50. That should be enough, right? Because already they're saying that that's going to solve all of y'all or all of our financial fair play problems at once. So me leaving, you ain't failing me, but you're going to fail the club if you don't negotiate a better deal. So I'll be interested to see what Hansi Flick's, what he thinks it is, because he already done said earlier in the month, maybe just last week, I think it was August 22nd. Hell, this is just a couple days ago, right? Okay, about 4 days ago. But he basically was saying, I don't want to lose any player because we need their quality. It would be a very long season. Now, he kind of changed up how he said that, because if I go back to, they're saying, if I can find that post, if you're a Barcelona fan, I'm pretty sure y'all seen it already today, but there was a post that was saying that, look, if we do end up selling, he will want a center back. And that's been something that I made a video on yesterday, when I was like, if Barcelona go into 2026 and they haven't signed a center back in 2025, the big money move we have to make in 2026 has to be a center back, preferably Bastoni. But they're probably gonna go for a striker, because that's just what Barcelona does. But they're saying if Fermin Lopez ends up leaving now, we're gonna take some of that money, as we will be clear in financial fair play. Use some of that money to find a center back to help us now, and I think that would be the ideal move. If he does decide to leave, Dro would take his place in the squad. And while I think Dro is quality, he's a different kind of attacking mid than Fermin Lopez. Fermin Lopez is such quality. He's an lethal finisher with either his right foot, left foot. He only scored bangers. He's getting better at passing the ball. His work rate as a midfielder is underrated. He presses like a wild animal. I love everything about Fermin Lopez. So if he has to go, it's only because of the club situation and the opportunity that's been given to him. I just hope, for the club's sake, we get the most out of that, assuming he accepts the offer, because at the end of the day, it's all down to him. So save the best for last, but y'all let me know what y'all think about that, man, because it was definitely a lot in this situation. All the news was breaking all throughout the day. Chelsea's interested. They put in a bid. Then it came out that there was no bid that came out. They only talking to the player and his entourage to see if that's something that he would entertain. And we already done seen posts saying that Fermin is studying Chelsea's offer. So that's gonna be a move he's gonna have to. I mean, a decision obviously him and his team's gonna have to come up with. They're gonna have to make that. And whatever decision you make, you lying at. You know. So I would prefer him to stay. I really do. But right now it's just a waiting game, and I from what they're saying, we're gonna know here very, very soon the outcome of this and whether he decides to go or not, because the window's closing in a couple days, so he can't wait 2-3 weeks for this. We got to find out here, like Gerard Romero was saying. We're gonna know here in a matter of hours. So I hope he ends up staying, bro. I really do. At least give us some time. If he leaves, we can find a suitable replacement. Selling him at the end of the window and just buying a center back, I'm not gonna lie, I don't love that, bro. But like I said, y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Let me know what y'all think about all the topics we went over here today. I do appreciate you guys for stopping by and watching. And if you did enjoy the video and you would like to see more news roundup, hit that like button, man. Comment on there, just be like, yeah, we want to see more of those. You know, I'm just trying to get a vibe. You know, I do appreciate. I'm on my way to 100 subscribers. I got 77. So every other day it's consistently going up. For everybody that's hit that subscribe button, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Y'all allowing a man to dream, continue to post, and just have fun with this, man. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. And again, thank you for stopping by and watching my channel. Like, comment, share, all that fun stuff. And I will see you on the next video, man. Two Tone out.